On the far edge of the Andara system, a small human research station floated silently above the blue and green planet of Novara. The station, called Horizon Outpost, was modest but functional. A cluster of shining modules, connected by narrow corridors and observation decks. From the outside, it looked peaceful, almost serene. But inside, the human crew worked tirelessly to study the mysterious planet below. Among them was Dr. Lena Reyes, a biologist with a sharp mind and a boundless curiosity. She had spent nearly 5 years on Novara, observing the strange flora and fauna that covered the planet's surface. But recently, reports of unusual energy readings from the nearby moon, Celis, had drawn her attention. The readings were subtle, irregular pulses, nothing dangerous but undeniably artificial. Lena wasn't alone in her fascination. Orbiting quietly nearby in a sleek, metallic spacecraft was an alien observer. Known only by the designation Xylo, it was part of a highly advanced species called the Virelians. Their technology far surpassed humanity's. Yet Xylo's behavior often resembled that of a child learning about the world. Curious, cautious, and endlessly inquisitive. Xylo had watched Horizon Outpost for weeks, trying to understand these strange, warm-blooded beings, called humans. Xylo's species did not communicate like humans. They didn't speak in words, but in subtle pulses of light and vibrations through the air. They were fascinated by humans by their habits, emotions, and peculiar customs, but often found them completely incomprehensible. Xylo had seen humans exercise, eat, sleep, and interact. But one thing still puzzled it, above all: their hygiene routines. Humans would retreat into small, enclosed spaces with water and sometimes strange smells. They would scrub themselves, laugh, or sing softly, and then emerge fresh and dry. To Xylo, it seemed magical and utterly confusing. On this particular morning, the human crew had gone about their usual routines. Lena, eager to start the day, checked the readings on the observation deck. The moon's energy pulses were stronger than before, oscillating in a pattern that suggested intelligence. She leaned over the console, tapping at the holographic display, completely unaware that a pair of glowing eyes watched her from the shadow of the station's exterior. Xylo hovered near the outer observation window, its sleek body almost invisible against the metal framework. It had learned to hide, to observe silently. But today, something about Lena's presence drew it closer. She moved with a natural grace that seemed strange to Xylo, a combination of precision and care in every motion. It tilted its head, sending a soft light pulse to itself its way of thinking. Inside, Lena began her morning routine of analyzing samples from the planet below. Each sample was carefully labeled, stored, and examined under magnification. She marveled at the alien vegetation, noting how the plants seemed to adapt rapidly to environmental changes. Her fingers moved quickly, carefully avoiding contamination. For Xylo, every gesture was a puzzle. Why did humans touch things so delicately? Why did they repeat certain actions, even when they already knew the outcome? Hours passed. Lena stepped away from her workstation to hydrate, glancing at the panoramic view of Novara. Its swirling clouds and shimmering oceans stretched endlessly. Xylo moved silently along the hull outside, trying to match her movements. It was learning, not just observing, but trying to understand the rhythm of human behavior. The Virelians were known for their intelligence, but even Xylo struggled to interpret emotions. Humans express themselves in ways Xylo's species could not through tone of voice, facial expression, and subtle body language. Later that day, the crew gathered in the communal area for a meal. Lena joined them, sitting at a table filled with nutrient-rich foods specially designed for long-term space missions. She chatted with her colleagues about the energy readings from Celis, outlining her theory that an unknown civilization might inhabit the moon. Xylo observed from a hidden vantage point, sending pulses of light through its sensors to record the humans' conversation. It could not speak their language yet, but it had begun to associate patterns of vibration with specific words. The crew laughed at a joke, Lena told, and Xylo tried to mimic the rhythm, failing comically. It pulsed and flickered, creating patterns of light that would have been adorable to a human observer, but were entirely confusing in meaning. As evening fell, the station's lights dimmed, and the crew prepared to rest. Lena retreated to her quarters, a small module with a window facing the stars. She relaxed, letting her mind wander over the day's observations. Xylo, still outside, watched her settle into the routine that remained most mysterious of all sleep. Humans lay down, closed their eyes, and rested, yet their minds continued to work in dreams, memories, and thoughts. It was then that Xylo noticed something unusual. Lena opened a small compartment containing her personal care items, soap, a towel, and other implements of cleanliness. To Xylo, this was a profound mystery. Why did humans clean themselves in private? Why did they spend time with water and scrubbing, when their bodies seemed perfectly fine already? The alien sent a slow, deliberate pulse of curiosity through its sensors, a sign of intense interest. Xylo lingered near the window, fascinated. It had learned a lot about humans in the past weeks, but their private rituals remained an enigma. The alien wanted to understand, to experience this human behavior firsthand, but it was also cautious. Virilians valued observation before interaction, and direct contact with humans could be dangerous. Yet, the curiosity burned stronger than caution. Meanwhile, Lena's attention was elsewhere. She had noticed anomalies in the energy readings from Celis. They were growing in strength and pattern, suggesting intelligence, but it was unlike any human or natural signal she had encountered. She tapped her console, trying to decipher the rhythm, when a sudden flicker of light on the observation window caught her eye. At first, she thought it was a reflection from her instruments. Then she noticed a subtle shimmer, moving just outside the station's hull. Her heart quickened. Could it be a meteor? A malfunction in the station's shields? Slowly, she approached the window, peering out. Outside, barely visible against the backdrop of Novara, a sleek, glowing figure hovered in space. It moved with precision, but also a strange grace, as if it were studying her movements. Lena's mind raced. Could it be a probe? An alien craft? She had never seen anything like it. Her instinct was to remain calm, but the pulse of excitement she felt was unmistakable. Xylo mirrored her curiosity, its form shifting slightly in the void. For the first time, it realized that its observation had been noticed. Its glowing eyes, or the closest approximation of eyes, met Lena's gaze. Both of them paused. Two intelligent species recognizing one another across a thin wall of glass and metal. Neither spoke, neither moved. Yet in that moment, something remarkable happened. Xylo's sensors sent a gentle, soft pulse, a greeting of sorts, a signal of curiosity and peaceful intent. Lena, uncertain but brave, responded with a slow wave of her hand. The universal gesture of acknowledgement. The moment was brief, yet it set the stage for something far greater. Two species, so different in biology, thought, and culture, had recognized each other. Both were curious. Both wanted to understand. And neither fully realized that this encounter would change everything they knew about the universe. As Lena returned to her console, she could not shake the feeling that someone or something was watching her, but not in a threatening way. Xylo retreated slightly, still hidden but closer than before. Its curiosity was no longer purely observational. It wanted to understand humans on a deeper level, to learn why they lived, worked, and cared as they did. Above all, it wanted to see the humans succeed, to witness the ingenuity and spirit that made them so different from any other species Xylo had ever encountered. For now, though, they remained observers, alien and human, two species separated by space and biology, yet bound by curiosity, intelligence, and the first fragile sparks of understanding. And far away on Celis, the strange energy pulses continued, silent and mysterious, waiting for the day when humans and their alien observers would come to learn what secrets the moon truly held. The day after the mysterious encounter, Horizon Outpost was unusually quiet. Lena Reyes sat in her quarters, sipping a warm drink as the stars outside sparkled in the darkness. Her mind replayed the flicker of light she had seen through the observation window. She knew it was not a reflection, nor a random glitch. Something intelligent had been watching her. Despite the thrill, she remained calm. Lena was trained for unexpected events. In her years of studying Novara, she had learned that curiosity was often the best guide. She returned to her console and pulled up the data from Celis, the moon that had recently sent strange energy pulses. The signals had grown stronger overnight. Patterns emerged, repetitive pulses, almost like a language. "Interesting," she murmured. Meanwhile, outside the station, Xylo lingered in the shadows of the hull. Its glowing form shimmered faintly, reflecting the lights of the station. Xylo had spent hours analyzing humans' private behaviors, but now its attention shifted. The pulses from Celis were like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Lena's careful study of the moon fascinated it. Here was a human, fearless, intelligent, and determined, a creature willing to face the unknown. Xylo had no concept of fear as humans experienced it. Instead, it analyzed risk logically. And yet, it noticed something different about humans. Their courage was not always predictable. They acted despite danger, driven by curiosity, morality, or simple fascination. Humans were illogical, yet their creativity and resilience made them remarkable. Xylo's glowing sensors flickered with excitement. Inside the station, Lina began decoding the signals. The pattern was complex, almost musical, with intervals of silence and sudden bursts of energy. She used her computer to convert the pulses into visual data, hoping to find a recognizable structure. Hours passed as she worked, and the first signs of frustration crept in. The signals were intricate, too regular to be natural, too varied to be mechanical noise. Xylo observed silently, fascinated by the humans' persistence. From the aliens' perspective, humans were inefficient in their methods, yet somehow their persistence always led to results. Unlike the Virelians, who could process vast amounts of information instantly, humans relied on patience, trial, and error. Xylo could see that Lena's determination was a form of intelligence itself, one it admired. Suddenly, the station's sensors detected movement outside. Lena's heart skipped a beat. She walked to the observation deck and activated the long-range cameras. The image of Xylo appeared, shimmering faintly against the stars. Lena froze, unsure of what to do. It was not hostile. Its movements were smooth, almost careful, like a creature approaching with respect. Lena swallowed and tapped a series of commands on the console to initiate a safe communication protocol. She did not want to alarm anyone outside or the alien, but she needed to understand what it was. Xylo's sensors responded to her signals, pulsing softly. It could not speak, could not understand human language fully, but it sensed Lena's intent. Curiosity, not aggression. For the first time, Xylo sent a deliberate pulse toward the station. A greeting of sorts. A sequence of light patterns meant to convey recognition. Lena watched in awe. It was unlike anything she had seen before. Her pulse quickened with excitement. This was first contact, but subtle, careful, and entirely peaceful. I think it's trying to communicate," Lena whispered to herself. She returned to her console, translating the pulses into a simple graphical pattern. Slowly, a picture began to form. Symbols, sequences, and curves that suggested intelligence. But what did it mean? Xylo, meanwhile, hovered close, fascinated by Lena's response. Its species had mastered technology far beyond human comprehension. Yet here it was, observing a creature that learned differently. Humans' ability to innovate, to adapt, to persist, despite limits, it was extraordinary. Xylo's glowing sensors pulsed faster, almost with admiration. Hours later, the station crew gathered in the main hall for a briefing. Lena explained the unusual energy signals from Celis and the appearance of the unknown observer. The other scientists were cautious, some skeptical, others nervous. Dr. Kieran Moss, the station's engineer, frowned. "You're suggesting it's intelligent? How can we be sure it's not some natural phenomenon?" Lena shook her head. "The pattern is too precise. It repeats in ways that natural processes don't. And there's something deliberate in its movement outside. I've never seen anything like it." The crew debated, weighing the risks and possibilities. Yet, despite their hesitation, Lena felt certain of one thing. This was an opportunity. Contact with a new intelligent species was rare, possibly unprecedented, and she had the chance to be the first human to communicate with it. That night, Lena returned to her quarters. The stars seemed brighter than usual, almost alive. Xylo watched from outside the station, its form flickering in quiet anticipation. The alien had observed many human routines. Yet, Lena's dedication, curiosity, and courage fascinated it. She was unlike any other human it had studied. Unable to resist, Xylo decided to approach closer. Carefully, it hovered near the station's observation deck, using a shield of light to remain partially hidden. It wanted to study her, to understand the way she thought, how she reacted to challenges, and how humans solved problems. Inside, Lena was unaware of Xylo's proximity. She worked on the signal patterns, tracing connections, drawing symbols, and marking intervals. Slowly, she began to recognize a rhythm, a kind of logic within the pulses. It was like a melody, a language in energy form. Xylo's curiosity grew. Its sensors flickered in synchronization with Lena's actions. Humans were strange, chaotic, and unpredictable, but their minds were brilliant. Every decision Lena made revealed creativity, problem-solving, and emotional depth. Xylo's species valued intelligence, but it had never seen a combination of logic and intuition like this. Suddenly, a burst of energy from Celis disrupted the station's sensors. Lena jumped back from her console, her heart racing. The moon's pulse was not only stronger, it was directed, as if someone or something was trying to get her attention. Xylo registered the anomaly immediately. It recognized that the signal had a purpose, a meaning. The moon's energy pulses were intelligent, like a beacon, and the human in the station was exactly the one the pulses were meant to reach. Lena activated the station's long-range array, aiming it toward Celis. She transmitted a simple response, a series of pulses mimicking the moon's pattern, a human attempt at communication. The machine beeped, recorded the signal, and transmitted it into the void. Xylo watched, fascinated. It had never seen a species respond to an alien signal with such creativity. Humans did not have instantaneous communication technology like the Virelians, yet they adapted, experimented, and found solutions. The aliens' admiration for Lena and for humanity grew. For hours, Lena and the station's instruments exchanged signals with Celis. The patterns became increasingly complex, as if an intelligent presence on the moon was teaching her its language. Lena's excitement soared. She was decoding a language older than humanity itself, a message written in energy and intention. Xylo, too, pulsed its light in rhythm with the signals, trying to learn. It was a silent participant in the conversation, observing how humans interpreted, adapted, and understood. And slowly, Xylo began to see something remarkable. Humans were capable of cooperation, creativity, and perseverance in ways no purely logical species could predict. The night deepened. Lena finally paused, exhausted but exhilarated. The moon's signal had paused as well, leaving a soft, steady glow in the instruments. She stared at the stars, wondering what or who was out there. Outside, Xylo lingered, its curiosity fully ignited. It wanted to help, to guide, but it also understood caution. Humans must discover things on their own, just as they had solved so many problems before. Yet it could not resist a thought. Perhaps one day, humans and Varelians would work together, combining ingenuity and logic to face challenges far greater than either could handle alone. In the quiet of the station, two observers, one human, one alien, waited. Both had discovered something extraordinary. Intelligence, curiosity, and the will to explore were universal. Both were learning, adapting, and preparing for the next step in a story that was only just beginning. And far away, on the moon of Celis, the energy pulses pulsed once more, stronger and clearer than ever before, as if acknowledging that someone was finally listening. The adventure had begun. The next morning, Horizon Outpost hummed with quiet activity. Lena Reyes moved through the corridors with purpose, her mind alive with the possibilities that Celis presented. The energy pulses from the moon had grown more structured overnight, almost like an invitation, and the station's crew had agreed that a closer investigation was necessary. Lena's heart raced at the thought of stepping onto Celis. She had trained for planetary exploration, but nothing could prepare her for the mystery waiting on that moon. She packed her equipment carefully. Scanners, communication devices, environmental suits, and a notebook filled with observations from her work on Novara. Outside, Xylo watched from the shadow of the station, its glowing form flickering softly. The alien had been silent during the night, sending subtle pulses to analyze the signals from Celis. But now, it faced a decision. The human was preparing to leave the safety of the station. Xylo had observed humans for weeks, learned their habits, their courage, their unpredictability. It recognized that Lena would not be deterred by danger. Yet it also knew the value of guidance. Slowly, Xylo shifted closer to the docking bay, keeping a safe distance but observing every movement. Its sensors analyzed Lena's equipment, noting the practical choices she had made, the care in every action. Humans were fascinating. They balanced curiosity and caution in ways Xylo had never seen. "Commander Reyes," Dr. Kieran Moss called as Lena entered the docking bay. "Everything is ready. We've prepped the shuttle for landing on Celis. The atmosphere is thin, but breathable with your suit. Gravity is low, so movement will be slower. Stay focused." Lena nodded, checking her instruments one last time. "Understood. I'll record everything. We need to know what's sending these signals." "Crife." The shuttle detached from the station with a soft hiss. Lena watched as Horizon Outpost receded into the distance. A small cluster of modules, floating against the endless black of space. Outside the viewport, Celis grew larger, its surface glowing faintly with unusual patterns of light. The energy pulses seemed to shimmer across the moon like veins of power, hinting at a hidden intelligence beneath the barren surface. Xylo followed silently, hovering in the void behind the shuttle. It could not enter the shuttle, and it did not attempt to communicate directly, but it mirrored every movement, ensuring Lena's path remained clear. Curiosity pulsed through its sensors. Humans were unpredictable in strange environments, yet Lena's confidence inspired admiration. She did not panic, did not hesitate. She calculated, adjusted, and adapted with grace. The shuttle landed with a gentle thrum on Celis's rocky surface. The low gravity made Lena's first steps slow and deliberate. Dust floated in lazy arcs around her boots, shimmering in the moonlight. The energy pulses were stronger now, almost rhythmic, as if guiding her toward a destination. Lena activated her scanner, taking careful readings, noting the peaks and valleys of the signals. "This is incredible," she whispered. "It's almost like the moon is alive." Xylo drifted above the surface, careful to remain hidden. Its species had observed countless worlds, yet Celis presented something unique. An intelligence that did not resemble their own, communicating through energy rather than language. And now, a human had arrived, curious, brave, and persistent. Xylo's admiration deepened. Lena followed the pulsing patterns across the moon's surface. Craters and jagged rock formations stretched in all directions, but the energy pulses created a faint trail, almost like a path. She adjusted her suit's magnetized boots to stabilize each step. Hours passed, yet she did not tire. Her determination was fueled by curiosity, the same force that had driven humanity to explore planets and stars long before Celis had ever been noticed. As Lena reached a large crater, the energy pulses intensified. Her scanner displayed unusual readings. Structures beneath the surface, geometric shapes that suggested construction, but not like anything she had seen on Earth or Novara. They were subtle, integrated with the moon's geology, almost invisible to the naked eye. Xylo observed, analyzing both Lena and the structures. It recognized that humans had a unique capacity for problem-solving and interpretation. While Virelians could process information at incredible speeds, humans' creativity and intuition allowed them to notice patterns and possibilities that others overlooked. Xylo pulsed a quiet signal to itself, a gesture of respect. Lena knelt by a formation in the crater floor. Using her instruments, she scanned the surface more closely. There was a faint energy signature beneath her feet, forming intricate lines in the rock. The patterns shifted slightly as she moved, responding to her presence in a subtle, almost intelligent way. It's interactive," Lena whispered. "It reacts to me." Suddenly, a faint glow emerged from the crater floor. A doorway-like structure appeared, not built in the traditional sense, but formed from the moon's energy itself. Lena's eyes widened in wonder. The energy pulses were forming shapes, almost like a greeting or an invitation. Xylo hovered closer, fascinated. It had seen countless forms of communication, yet this method, shaping energy into structures that responded to human presence, was ingenious. The human mind had adapted quickly, interpreting the pulses, moving along the patterns, and unlocking the next stage of understanding. Lena activated her suit's translator and recording devices. Every pulse, every light sequence, every vibration was captured. She stepped carefully toward the glowing doorway. Her pulse raced with excitement, but she remained cautious, aware of the unknown. Then, unexpectedly, the energy pulses changed tone. They surged upward, brighter and faster. Lena's scanner displayed a new pattern. A simple geometric figure resembling a humanoid form. Her breath caught. Could it be a message in a form she could recognize? "Someone or something is trying to show me something," she murmured. From the shadows above, Xylo tilted its form. It realized that the moon's energy was intelligent, but it also understood that the human was capable of comprehending it. For the first time, Xylo considered revealing itself fully. Lena had already demonstrated curiosity, courage, and patience, traits the Virelians valued highly. Slowly, Xylo emerged from its hiding place, shimmering softly in the moonlight. Lena froze, staring at the glowing figure hovering above the ground. Its form was fluid, elegant, and alien, yet there was a sense of intelligence and calm in its movements. Xylo pulsed gently, signaling peaceful intent. Lena's initial fear vanished, replaced by awe and curiosity. She slowly raised her hand in a universal gesture of greeting. The alien mirrored her movement with a subtle shift of its body, sending soft pulses that Lena could just barely perceive through her instruments. It was a moment of mutual recognition. Human and alien, different species, meeting on the surface of a distant moon. For a long moment, neither spoke. The energy pulses from the moon continued in the background, subtle but deliberate, as if acknowledging the encounter. Lena realized something remarkable. The moon and the alien were connected. The energy signals were intelligent, and the alien's presence was part of that intelligence. Xylo moved closer, its glowing form shimmering in response to Lena's curiosity. It analyzed her expression, her movements, the way she interacted with the moon's energy. Humans were unpredictable, yet their ingenuity was inspiring. Xylo's species valued intelligence above all. But humans combined logic with creativity in ways that were difficult to replicate. Lena stepped toward the doorway formed by the energy pulses. She reached out carefully, letting her hand hover over the glowing surface. The energy responded, rippling like water, forming patterns that seemed almost like instructions. She understood, without words, that this was an invitation to explore deeper, to learn more. Xylo followed silently, hovering just above her, observing. It could see the potential in this human. Her courage, patience, and problem-solving skills. Perhaps, Xylo thought, this species could become a partner, an ally, in ways that Virelians alone could not achieve. For hours, Lena explored the glowing doorway and the structures beneath the moon's surface. The energy pulses guided her, showing patterns, symbols, and sequences. Every discovery filled her with awe, and every step revealed something new about the intelligence behind the moon. Xylo remained a silent guardian, observing, analyzing, and occasionally sending small pulses of light in subtle communication. Lena's understanding grew with each step, and she realized that the moon's energy was a form of language, a story, waiting to be read by someone curious and patient. As the day ended, Lena paused to record her findings. The glowing doorway had led her to a large chamber beneath the moon's surface, filled with energy patterns that pulsed softly. She marveled at the complexity and elegance of the structures. Outside, Xylo hovered silently. It had learned something new about humans. Their ability to explore, adapt, and learn was extraordinary. And it realized that this was only the beginning. Together, human and alien, they might uncover secrets far beyond either species' expectations. The adventure on Celis had begun. The moon's intelligence, the alien observer, and the human explorer were now intertwined, forming the first steps of a story that would test courage, curiosity, and the boundless potential of discovery. The glow of Celis's energy pulsed softly around Lena as she moved deeper into the moon's hidden chamber. Her suit's lights illuminated strange geometric shapes carved into the walls, patterns of energy that shifted subtly as she observed them. Each movement seemed to trigger responses in the pulsing light, almost as if the moon itself were aware of her presence. Xylo hovered nearby, its shimmering form reflecting the patterns of energy around them. Unlike humans, the alien could sense subtle vibrations in the air, fluctuations in energy that gave it insight into the moon's intentions. It watched Lena carefully, analyzing how she interacted with the energy structures. Humans were unpredictable, yet Lena approached the challenge with patience, curiosity, and creativity. These qualities fascinated Xylo. "This place," Lena whispered, her voice barely audible in the silence of the chamber. "It's alive. I think the moon is trying to communicate something, but I don't know what." Xylo pulsed softly, sending patterns of light that floated in the air between them. It was the first attempt to communicate directly, not through signals from Celis, but between the alien and the human. Lena's eyes widened. She had seen the flashes before, but this was different. It was deliberate, almost intelligent. She raised her hand slowly, mimicking the movement she had seen earlier in the observation deck. Xylo responded with a pulse that flowed around her, tracing the outline of her gesture in faint light. Lena's heart leapt. Perhaps this was the beginning of a new language, one that combined human intuition with alien precision. "We can work together," she said softly. "You understand this place better than I do, and I can interpret what I see. Maybe together, we can figure it out." Xylo's form shimmered in response, a slow, deliberate pulse. It understood. Cooperation. Teamwork. A concept Virelians valued, but rarely practiced with other species. And yet, here was a human, bold, intelligent, and creative, willing to learn, adapt, and cooperate. Lena moved toward a cluster of symbols carved into the chamber floor. She activated her scanner, which projected the patterns as holographic images. Each symbol corresponded to energy fluctuations that pulsed in rhythm. Slowly, she began mapping them, noting sequences, repetitions, and changes. Xylo hovered close, its sensors synchronized with the scanner. It analyzed each pattern, detecting subtle variations Lena could not perceive. When she paused, unsure of the next step, Xylo pulsed again, highlighting the correct sequence. Lena's eyes lit up. "You're helping me?" she asked, a smile spreading across her face. Xylo responded with a soft wave of light, acknowledging her gratitude. Humans expressed emotion in ways that were sometimes illogical, yet compelling. Xylo found it fascinating, this mixture of reason and feeling, curiosity and intuition. Hours passed as they worked together. Lena traced patterns, activated energy nodes, and recorded the responses. Xylo guided her subtly, sending pulses that indicated connections and sequences. Slowly, a structure began to emerge in the chamber, a network of energy channels that formed a map. "This looks like a map," Lena said, astonished. "A map of the moon's surface, or maybe beyond it." Xylo pulsed affirmatively. The moon's intelligence was indeed communicating, and Lena was beginning to understand. The energy network represented locations, patterns, and perhaps even messages. It was not words as humans knew them, but symbols and sequences that conveyed meaning through form and energy. As they continued, Lena noticed something remarkable. Certain nodes in the energy network responded to her thoughts, not just her movements. When she concentrated on a pattern, the pulses intensified, forming shapes that seemed designed for comprehension. It was as if Celis could sense her mind. Xylo hovered closer, intrigued. This human was adapting faster than expected, interpreting the moon's signals intuitively. Virelians relied on analysis, algorithms, and structured logic. Humans relied on creativity, intuition, and experimentation. Together, the combination was powerful. Suddenly, one section of the energy network shifted dramatically. A doorway of glowing energy opened in the chamber wall, leading into a narrow passage. Lena's pulse quickened. "This is it," she whispered. "The next stage." Xylo followed closely, observing the passage. Its sensors detected faint energy trails, movement patterns, perhaps previous visitors, or messages from Celis itself. The chamber's energy seemed to hum with anticipation, as if aware that the human and alien were ready to proceed. The passage led to a larger chamber, open to the sky through a crack in the moon's surface. Sunlight, or what passed for sunlight so far from Novara, filtered in, casting long shadows across the strange rock formations. Energy pulses danced across the floor in patterns that seemed almost alive. "This place," Lena breathed, awe in her voice. "It's beautiful." Xylo pulsed, reflecting light across the chamber. Humans valued beauty differently than Virelians, who prized efficiency and logic above all. Yet Xylo sensed that beauty inspired exploration, creativity, and understanding. Lena's admiration for the moon's design was a form of intelligence, an appreciation that could not be measured in calculations alone. Together, they followed the energy paths across the chamber. Lena noticed a central node, larger and more complex than the others. The pulses here were faster, almost urgent, suggesting importance. She approached cautiously, activating her scanner. The readings were extraordinary. The energy formed a three-dimensional holographic map, showing not only the surface of Celis, but also other points in the Andara system. Coordinates, Lena whispered. The moon is pointing to something else, somewhere else out there. Xylo pulsed excitedly. This was the moment it had hoped for. The human had interpreted the signals, understood their significance, and could now act on them. Celis's intelligence was guiding her toward something larger, a mystery beyond the moon itself. But as they studied the holographic map, Lena noticed subtle changes in the pulses. Patterns shifted in ways that suggested caution. Some nodes glowed weakly, while others pulsed erratically. "Wait, something's wrong," she said. "The moon is warning us." Xylo analyzed the fluctuations. Energy spikes indicated potential danger or obstacles. Celis's intelligence was protective. It did not want careless explorers to be harmed. The alien understood perfectly. Humans were capable of learning, but they could also be impulsive. Lena stepped back, considering her options. "We need to be careful," she said. "If we follow the map, we might find incredible discoveries, but we could also be walking into unknown hazards." Xylo pulsed gently, a reassurance. It had observed humans in danger before. Lena had learned to adapt, to think quickly, and to problem solve. Together, they could face whatever Celis had in store. Hours passed as they prepared to continue. Lena recorded every detail, mapping the energy paths, noting potential risks, and planning a route. Xylo mirrored her movements, offering subtle guidance, indicating where energy nodes might require special attention. "This is teamwork," Lena said finally, smiling. "You and I, figuring this out together." Xylo pulsed brightly in response. The concept of partnership was familiar to Virelians in theory, but rarely practiced with other species. This human had proven capable, intelligent, and adaptable, a perfect collaborator. As evening approached on Celis, the chamber glowed softly with energy. Lena activated her suit's systems for the next stage of exploration. The moon's signals pulsed steadily, almost as if offering encouragement. For a moment, Lena paused, looking at Xylo. "I couldn't do this alone," she said. "Thank you for helping me understand." Xylo pulsed in acknowledgement, a gesture of respect and recognition. Humans communicated in ways that were sometimes illogical, but powerful. Gratitude, trust, and cooperation were forces that could drive exploration and discovery far beyond logic alone. Together, human and alien moved deeper into the chamber. The path ahead was uncertain, full of potential discoveries and unknown challenges. Yet for the first time, Lena felt that she was not alone. Xylo's presence was more than observation. It was guidance, protection, and companionship. It had learned to appreciate human courage, creativity, and intuition. And Lena had begun to understand that intelligence took many forms. Some measured in logic, some in curiosity, and some in the willingness to explore the unknown. As they advanced toward the central node, the energy pulses shifted again, forming a spiral of light that seemed to beckon them forward. Lena's pulse quickened with excitement, her determination strengthened by the presence of her alien partner. "This is it," she whispered, the heart of Celis's message. Xylo hovered beside her, sensing the significance. The moon's intelligence had chosen a human capable of understanding. And now, together, they would uncover the secrets that had remained hidden for centuries. The adventure was no longer just about observation or curiosity. It was about partnership, cooperation, and the shared pursuit of knowledge. an example of what could happen when two intelligent species, different yet complementary, worked together. And somewhere deep within Celis, the energy pulses shimmered in approval, guiding the human and alien toward the next stage of discovery. The spiral of energy pulsed steadily beneath Lena's boots, illuminating the chamber in soft, shifting colors. She held her scanner carefully, watching as the readings displayed complex geometric forms she had never seen before. Each pulse, each vibration, seemed purposeful, deliberate, and intelligent. The energy patterns now formed a clear path toward the heart of Celis's message. Xylo hovered beside her, glowing softly. It had guided Lena carefully, observing the human's problem-solving, her patience, and her ability to adapt. Varelians were logical and precise, but Lena's creativity was something exceptional. Xylo pulsed subtly, signaling encouragement. This was the moment of discovery, and it trusted her judgment. Lena took a deep breath. "We're close," she said softly. "I can feel it." The chamber opened into a vast space beneath the moon's surface. The ceiling disappeared into shadows, and energy pulses radiated from a central node, brighter than anything Lena had seen. It was a tower of light, crystalline and translucent, hovering just above the ground. The pulses formed intricate patterns around it, spiraling outward in perfect symmetry. This is incredible," Lena whispered. Her eyes scanned the structure, recording every detail. "It's not just a message, it's a system, a repository of knowledge." Xylo pulsed in response, analyzing the structure. The alien had seen many intelligent systems in its travels, but this was different. The energy pulses were not just data, they were interactive. They responded to intent, creativity, and curiosity. The moon itself was teaching, testing, and inviting understanding. Lena approached the central node carefully. She activated her scanner, linking it to the energy pulses. Light rippled across the crystalline tower, responding to her device. Slowly, symbols appeared in the air, forming sequences she could begin to interpret. They were universal in concept, not words as humans knew them, but patterns conveying information about physics, energy, and technology far beyond human understanding. Xylo hovered closer, its sensors absorbing every nuance. It recognized the structure's purpose: preservation of knowledge, possibly by an ancient civilization long gone. Yet the moon itself seemed alive, guiding explorers who showed intelligence and curiosity. "This is beyond anything we imagined," Lena said, excitement and awe in her voice. "Celis isn't just a moon. It's a library, a teacher." The pulses shifted as if responding to her words. Lena realized that this was more than observation, it required participation. She raised her hands, moving them through the energy patterns as her scanner interpreted them. Slowly, the tower responded, forming new sequences, revealing hidden layers of information. Xylo pulsed in encouragement, guiding her subtly. It did not direct her, only offered insight where she paused. Lena's understanding grew with every interaction. The human mind, combined with the alien's subtle guidance, unlocked sequences that neither could have done alone. Hours passed as Lena explored the tower. She learned that Celis contained knowledge about planetary engineering, energy manipulation, and patterns of life across the Andara system. The energy pulses were organized to test the explorer's intelligence and adaptability. It was a lesson in creativity, persistence, and problem-solving. This could help humanity," Lena said. Her mind raced with possibilities. New technologies, safer energy, even ways to communicate across stars. And it could help other species too. Xylo pulsed brightly, signaling agreement. The Virelian recognized the potential impact of the human's discovery. Suddenly, the pulses shifted again. A specific sequence formed above the tower, creating a holographic map of the Andara system. Nodes glowed at each planet, star, and moon, with Celis at the center. One node pulsed more brightly than the others. It was Novara. The moon. It's pointing to us, Lena whispered. It wants us to share what we've learned. Carefully. Xylo pulsed affirmatively. It understood the significance. Knowledge should be used wisely, shared only with those prepared to learn and respect it. The moon had chosen humans not because they were the strongest, fastest, or most logical, but because of their curiosity, creativity, and persistence, traits that Xylo had come to admire. Lena stepped back, letting the energy tower stabilize. The patterns had slowed, as if acknowledging her understanding. She looked at Xylo. We did it. Together. The alien pulsed in acknowledgement. Humans and Virelians had found common ground. The journey had begun with observation, evolved into cooperation, and now culminated in mutual understanding. Now we need to think carefully, Lena said, her mind working rapidly. This knowledge is incredible, but it's also powerful. We need to protect it and share it responsibly. Xylo's sensors flickered, analyzing her words. Responsibility, caution, prudence. These were concepts the Virelians valued, but rarely needed outside their own species. Lena's insight demonstrated another human trait: ethical judgment. Xylo's admiration grew. The two explorers spent the remainder of the day documenting the tower. Lena recorded patterns, pulses, and sequences, carefully noting their potential applications. Xylo assisted subtly, ensuring the human's safety while observing additional data invisible to her instruments. As night fell on Celis, the chamber glowed softly. Lena activated her suit's environmental shields, taking a moment to rest. She looked at the alien beside her. I never thought I'd be here, exploring an intelligent moon with an alien friend, she said, smiling. It's amazing. Xylo pulsed softly, reflecting the sentiment. Though it had no words, it had learned to appreciate human emotion, humor, and curiosity. Lena had proven that humans were capable of far more than her species' small victories in space exploration had suggested. The next morning, Lena and Xylo continued to explore the peripheral chambers of the energy tower. Hidden doors opened to reveal smaller nodes, each containing specialized knowledge. Advanced energy systems, sustainable planetary designs, and even information about life cycles on distant planets. Lena realized that Celis had been designed to share this knowledge with those capable of understanding, and only those who approached it with patience, creativity, and ethical intent could succeed. This is incredible, Lena whispered, recording her observations. It's like a mentor, guiding us, teaching us. Xylo pulsed brightly, signaling agreement. It had never seen such a method of education, combining intelligence, adaptability, and ethical judgment. Humans were capable of learning in ways that were unpredictable, yet effective. Lena embodied that potential. As they prepared to leave the chamber, Lena paused. We can't take all of it at once, she said. We need to study, understand, and then apply it responsibly. Xylo hovered close, its form shimmering softly. Its sensors detected the human's careful reasoning, her sense of responsibility, and her determination to act ethically. These traits had earned Lena the trust of Celis, the cooperation of Xylo, and the beginning of a remarkable partnership. Outside the chamber, the moon's surface glowed faintly as the energy pulses stabilized. Lena and Xylo stood together, looking at the stars above. Novara awaited them, along with the rest of the Andara system. They carried knowledge, responsibility, and the promise of discovery. Do you think humanity is ready for this? Lena asked quietly. Xylo pulsed gently, a response more nuanced than words. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but they were also resilient, intelligent, and capable of extraordinary cooperation. Lena's journey had proven it. With guidance, patience, and ethical judgment, humanity could rise to the challenge. The journey back to Horizon Outpost was filled with reflection. Lena reviewed her notes, recorded every detail, and prepared for the safe transport of the data. Xylo followed, silent and observant, yet fully engaged. The alien had learned as much from the human as Lena had learned from Celis. Together, they had unlocked a system designed to challenge intelligence, test creativity, and reward ethical judgment. As Horizon Outpost came into view, Lena realized that their journey had changed her. She had explored an alien moon, decoded its intelligence, and formed a partnership with a being from another species. Yet, more than that, she had glimpsed humanity's potential: curiosity, courage, creativity, and ethical responsibility. Xylo pulsed softly as the shuttle docked. The alien had witnessed humanity's resilience and adaptability firsthand. It had seen patience, problem-solving, and moral reasoning in action. And it knew that humans had the potential to achieve great things if guided wisely and encouraged to explore. Later, in the observation deck, Lena looked out at the stars, reflecting on the adventure. Celis had revealed knowledge beyond imagination, but the real discovery was deeper. The proof that humans, with curiosity, courage, and ethical intent, could rise to challenges that seemed impossible. Xylo hovered nearby, silently acknowledging the human's reflection. They had explored, learned, and cooperated together. The moon had shared its secrets not with force, but with guidance, patience, and recognition of intelligence. And now, Lena carried that lesson forward. The energy pulses from Celis continued, gentle and steady, like a heartbeat in the darkness of space. They were a reminder. Knowledge could be shared, challenges could be overcome, and cooperation across species could create a future brighter than any one being could achieve alone. And as Lena prepared her final reports, she realized something extraordinary. The universe was full of mysteries, and humanity had only just begun to understand its place among them. Xylo pulsed softly beside her, a silent promise. They would explore further, together, unlocking the secrets of the stars, one discovery at a time. For the first time, human and alien understood something profound. Intelligence, curiosity, and cooperation were universal, and with them, the possibilities were endless. The adventure of Celis had ended, but the journey of discovery had only just begun.